Welcome to another episode of Leaders of Transformation. I am so excited that you're here today with us, and we have an amazing, amazing guest. I have invited Adam Flores. Adam, welcome to Leaders of Transformation.
Thank you for having me, Nicole.
It is a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I actually met Adam at an event that he did about a month ago, a little over a month ago, and it's called How to 10X Your Business Online. And so for those of you that are trying to build your business online, trying to, gain connections and, generate leads and build your marketing funnel online, Adam is the guy that is going to tell us how to do that. And so I am so excited that he's here, but also because not just is he really smart about business and understand how to build teams and understand how to build wealth, but also because he's just a really nice guy. And so I am excited to share him with you here today, and I think that you will enjoy this interview. And so let's just get right into it. I am going to give you a little bit of background and read a quick bio on Adam, because he's, like many of our guests, so humble. They don't really brag upon themselves in terms of who they are and what they do. Certainly passionate about what he does, that is for sure. In fact, I grabbed from his website where he said that his greatest passion is taking an idea and breaking it down step by step to help you build an online business that allows you to serve others with your gifts and your creativity. And that's one of the things that I love about you, Adam, is the fact that you are purpose driven, which I am. I love working with entrepreneurs that are purpose driven, that are focused, but Adam is actually, for those of you listening, Adam is a revolutionary leader. He's actually, maybe Adam, you can just tell us a little bit about your story, and don't hold back, but tell us. I know you've created some amazing accomplishments.
Sure. Well, thank you, Nicole, once again for having me on. I'm just really grateful to be here with you on this podcast. I've just in the time we've gotten to know each other, I just really enjoyed our conversations, and so really grateful for that. A little bit about my my story. I actually started off in direct sales, and I really struggled for the first few years. And what happened is that I started to study some of the top leaders in social media marketing, internet marketing. I was a big student on leadership and in sales, and just really a student first. That's where my journey began. And my hunger came from just wanting to be able to, build something awesome, create something awesome. And it was frustrating to not be able to do that, all the obstacles that I had faced, and so I began to study some of the greats. And from what I had learned, I built a direct sales business that did over $1 million in sales. And then came the toughest challenge. I got to a point where I wasn't really totally fulfilled doing that. And I wanted to make the shift from selling somebody else's products to creating and selling my own. And it was a complete different way of doing things, because I had to now deal with my own accounting. I had to deal with my own, payroll, creating my own products, fulfilling those products. And so just a lot more responsibilities. And that was probably one of the most difficult times because I had worked so hard to create a comfortable lifestyle, and then to jump off and start something new that I didn't really have any experience in starting was a whole new learning curve. And I had to make that decision to do that. So it was really challenging on me emotionally. It was challenging because I had to learn a whole new skill set. But I just kept learning and applying and experimenting. And from what I had learned and applied, I'm now able to, travel across the country doing seminars, become an author, and build a branding company, and teach people how to build online businesses. So it's been a journey, definitely not easy, but it's been worth it. And I still, on my way growing. So.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about the direct sales business, because that, as you know, is my background as well, is getting into network marketing and starting to learn and try, and you think you get into that industry and you go, oh, okay, so, 2 to 5 years, I choose 2, let's do this, and it's going to be easy. And then you realize there's all of these mental gyrations that go on about, your rejection, and how do you sell, how do you, contact, approach, all these things, and such valuable tools that, you know, are worthwhile in any business. And so there are some amazing, if you're listening out there and you're part of a network marketing or direct sales organization, learn all you can, because I have actually met so many successful entrepreneurs that that have come out of that industry and done very, very well, and even stayed in the industry, of course, and done very well as well. But so great point. Before we move on and talk about this next phase of your life, I want to comment on that, because you obviously have learned a lot, and you've accelerated the learning. So you're what,
26.
26. Oh my gosh. So, you know, that's awesome, right? To be able to have this learning and this experience at such a young age, and to be able, this is your starting point for the next phase of your life. It's amazing. You just got married and came back off your honeymoon. That was so sweet. Actually, the event that I went to was Adam, and what's your wife's name again?
Brianna.
Mm-hmm. Adam and Brianna were actually getting married that weekend. How crazy is that? Let's do an event, and let's do this big event for all these people, and let's get married on the same weekend. How crazy. Well, they did it, and it was awesome, and it was so beautiful to see the pictures of it afterwards. And so let's talk about now, so you talk about having a branding company, and you teach people how to make money online, how to build a business online. So let's dive into that. What does that look like?
Yeah, so
wide open for you to take whatever direction.
Yeah, sure. So I have so a lot of times people will come to our team and say, you know, Adam, we have this idea. We want to, you know, become a speaker, or we want to create an online program teaching people on leadership, or create a program on teaching people about fitness or mindset. So they'll come to us just with an idea. And what I do is I help them do three things. I help position them to become that ultimate authority in their niche, so that they could be respected by the marketplace. Then I help package their brand, and then help them create a product and promote it. And so we do that through our Dream Factory. So clients fly into our studios from all across the country, and we'll do their photo shoots, their videography, build their entire brand, the front end, the back end, and create just a world-class image and website. So that way, when the viewer comes or the traffic comes, they go, wow, this person is who they say they are. Mm-hmm. And so once that's created, we'll go and we'll create their first product, or if they have products already, we'll help them create their product suite, whether that's online courses, membership sites, helping them package their first seminar or event. And we will put that whole program together for them, and then give them the step-by-step strategies to help launch it. What's so neat about it is people come, you know, just with an idea. They just have something that they got a spark for. And within 90 days, our goal is to help them take that idea, create the entire brand, create the product, and launch it and produce a profit. And so we've had a lot of success stories, as I've been doing this for years now. And it's been really fun to get that phone call, you know, hey, Adam, thanks so much. You know, you were able to help me launch my program. I never thought it would be so soon. I never thought it would be this possible. And I made, you know, I launched today, and I made $3,000 on my first product. And then they get the hope for what's possible and sharing their message out there to the world. So it's really rewarding to see that. And it's my passion. I love helping take people's ideas and launching them out there in the marketplace, and helping them start to finish. And we've had a lot of success doing it, and we continue to grow and serve our clients. So
that's fantastic. So they come in with this idea, and you really only work with people that do have a passion for what they do, because that's important, right? I mean, they gotta love what they do if you're gonna make them a leader in their field and in their niche. Now, when you talk about photography, videography, website, what are some of the elements? Because I think this is a great opportunity for this to be a very practical interview, where we talk about some of the things that our listeners can take away. It also showcases your expertise, right? Mm-hmm. As well. What are some of the things that are needed on a website today for your clients, which a lot of them are speakers, authors, coaches? I think a lot of them are in that.
Sure. Yeah. So I think that a lot of people have a misconception that a website is just to make you look pretty and have this like really glowing brand. Right. And I mean, although aesthetics are important, the key is to be able to build a connection and rapport with the prospect and be able to lead them through the beginning of your sales process. And that's what makes a great brand. And
Right.
And so that's really when I look at creating something is are we going to create something that's really going to start that sales process? I'll give you a great example of what that ultimately looks like when you do it right. For years, I was constantly, when I was in the beginning of my journey, I had to constantly prove to my audience that I can deliver. Every time I get on a call, I'd have to explain myself all over again. I'd have to convince somebody all over again. And I had testimonials. I had experience already, and I was still struggling to, communicate to the marketplace, like, look, I can help you. And so when I had built my brand, what was so neat is I had a message come in saying, hey, Adam, I came across your brand and I want to connect with you about what you do. So what was so neat is when I picked up the phone, she was almost like starstruck, which was the coolest thing because I've never had this happen to me. She goes, oh my gosh, honey, I'm on the phone with Adam, I'm out Flores. She goes, I saw your websites, I saw your videos, I saw everything you do. She's like, I am ready to be a client. I just need to know how much. And I looked at the phone like, wow, like this is the first time that I ever had anybody tell me this before, or just make a decision that they want to work with me before they had talked to me. And to have, I call that the wow factor.
Yes.
And to have that leverage where, you can have a brand, share your message, share your client experiences, share, what you've created, what you do for them and how you can help them. It's one of the most rewarding things because then you could just focus on serving them and not having to convince all the time. So a good brand has elements that communicate that you are pro what you do.
Right.
That comes through, making sure that the messaging throughout the site is there. Being able to have a leading edge in your aesthetics, making sure your brand is relevant to today's time, and being able to start the sales process, giving the right offers, having the opt-ins in the right place. And being able to, have testimonials that show what you've been able to do for your clients. And then also your product suite. I think when you have products that show that you've, or products on a certain topic, it shows your viewer that you're a professional on that niche. And so it builds trust that they're coming to the right person. So a little bit of all of those elements coming together in one place create a great brand.
Thank you. Yeah, and I had a similar experience with you, right, when we got on the phone. And I said, okay, I'm looking for somebody to redo my website. I'm looking for somebody to redo all this. And I think you're the guy. And the reason why is because I looked at your website and said, yes, that's it. That's what I'm looking for, right? Like that. Do that.
Yeah.
You definitely demonstrated it. Of course, that was even after I went to the event and saw you there live as well. But even before that, that's why I went to the event in the first place, was because of all of your great marketing that you had going on, that I could see it wasn't just theory that you were teaching, because there's a lot of people that do teach about branding and marketing and social media, marketing and all that. But it's one thing to say, I know how to do it. And there's another thing to say, okay, I'm actually doing it in my own business. And so being your own best customer is obviously essential, especially in your business where it's so visible that people can see that, and that's the product that you're actually selling. So yeah, that's really fantastic. Now, when you are talking to, because you've got all of these coaches, everybody wants to be a speaker these days. Everybody wants to be a coach. How do you differentiate them? Because you said, you focus on their niche. Now, I know there's certain ways that I do it, because I believe that everybody does have their unique ability, their unique gift. But so how do you do that? With it, keeping it fresh, keeping it interesting, so that each website is not going to look like the same as everybody else's.
Yeah, absolutely. I do that through a couple of things. A lot of times, let me back up a little bit and kind of preface something that a lot of times people think, oh, somebody already teaching on leadership. Somebody's already teaching on sales training. Somebody's already teaching fitness or personal development. So I don't know if there's going to be room for me in the marketplace. And one of the things, that's a big misconception a lot of my clients have when they come to me, and those are some of the doubts that sometimes they have. And so one of the things I do to shift that is by giving them their own edge. And it's called intellectual property, creating a new way of creating a new way of doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes it seem like you've created your own niche within that marketplace. So it's like a sub niche. So I do that through helping them create what I call their bold promise, which is a specific result that they can deliver to the client. So for instance, somebody may come to me and say, I want to do, personal development. I want to teach on personal development and teach people how to be fulfilled. I say, okay, well, that's a generic way of doing it. But think about this. What is something that people are willing to pay for? Right now, people are willing to pay for productivity. So how can we incorporate your personal development into productivity, into a bold statement, so the viewer is clear on how you can help them? Well, one of the ways we can do that is by saying, I help people make a shift in their mind, become more productive, and have more energy and vibrance than they ever have by the end of my program. So now there's a specific result that the client is getting. And so they have their own niche and a story to back that. And so the story makes you unique, your experiences make you unique, and your angle at which you're able to deliver your product or service makes you unique. And so those are the three things that really can differentiate you in the marketplace to help you rise above the noise. The greater result you can provide is going to make you stand out.
Yeah. And you mentioned, you hit on it, right? The personal development. It's like, I want to help people to live a more fulfilling life. You could be doing that a lot of different ways.
Right.
So what you're doing is you're going into their experience. And I know I do that. I use a process where you go through and identify what are their experiences. And I don't do what you do, right? But being the coach, I need to understand that if I'm going to help them build the business, but to help them understand what's their heart, their passion, their ability, their life experience. And so then you can tailor that. And if it's productivity or if it's, do you lead with that? Do you actually lead with their experience and tailor it? Or is it kind of a marriage between the two where, like you're saying, is the top of mind problem that's going on out there is X, it's productivity. So how can we marry this to that? If that makes sense. Are you marrying it to the gap, or are you looking at their life experience and saying, how can we use your life experience to fulfill a gap?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I'll use myself as an example. There's a lot of online business coaches, right? But I don't ever call myself an online business coach. When people ask me, what do? I tell them, I say, I teach people how to build online businesses from scratch and profit within their first 90 days. That's my niche.
Very specific.
So it's very unique.
Yes.
And it gets the viewer to ask, how do you do that? And so if what you do when you explain it doesn't get people to go, how do you do that? Or how can you help me with that? Then you may want to shift it to be a more specific result that is that can pique curiosity for your audience. And so it's a mixture of knowing where the need is, knowing how to package it so people are willing to pay for it. Because money is not everything, but I'm not shy about talking about it because we need it to promote our message and get it out into the marketplace.
Yes.
So you need to have a marketable product. And so even though you're passionate about something, I think that's where people want to create these brands that are very generic, and it's very hard to get an angle. And so having those 3 Ps again, positioning yourself in a niche that is specific and being known as the expert in that, packaging your brand, and then promoting are all different. The 3 areas that you need to really focus on to launch your brand and get attention in the marketplace. Got it.
And you mentioned about money not being the first thing, but purpose really is, being the first and foremost. So talk to us a little bit about what is your, I know what you're passionate about, you shared that, but what's the bigger vision for you? What is your overriding purpose that drives you, that fuels you every single day to do what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was actually struggling a lot because, my faith is a big part of my life. And I always felt a little bit guilty, running a business and going after my own goals, because I thought maybe I should be, off helping kids in Africa, or maybe I should be, serving the poor and making a living doing that, or doing something to help other people. I felt guilty maybe going after my own vision, until one of my friends, he told me, says, Adam, he said, it's not everybody's called to go to Africa. Not everyone's called to go to, or to become a pastor. Not everyone's called to do this or that. He says, but the thing is that he's like, you right where you're at, you can make your business your ministry.
Yes.
And that was one of the most freeing things I ever learned in my life, because from that day, it was just so much clarity came. I felt like sometimes, you have that fog, like, what do I do next? Or how's this? And that fog went away. And that's exactly what put that spark in me. Like, I want to lead people to Jesus through my business. And so when we do our seminars, we'll do an altar call at the end. At the end of some of our team meetings, we'll have prayer. You
did that on a Saturday. I missed Saturday. Was that on Saturday?
Yeah, it was on Saturday. Yeah. So, really open about my, my faith.
Who you are. Yeah.
Who I am. It's just part of who I am. So I'm no longer
not right or wrong. It's not,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Just,
I'm not Adam over here, the business Adam over here, and my faith over here. It's my whole life has become congruent under, I don't have to separate who I am in different environments. So that's been it's been really freeing to be able to be me. Yeah.
That's a great point, by the way, is the great lesson right there. You talked about congruence. One of my favorite words is being congruent. And it's not about this work-life balance. It's like, I'm going to balance between my private life and my work life, or I'm going to balance between this and that. It is about harmony. It's about congruence. It's about being who you are all the time, no matter what it is that you're passionate about, but making it be a complete part of your life. And certainly faith is part of my life. It's a big part of my life, and it's who I am. It's like you can't really separate those things.
Right.
It's a struggle. So that's excellent. So what would maybe some tips for our listeners out there if they're struggling with that for themselves?
Well, I think everyone's trying to aim to create balance. Everybody's trying to aim to have, everything in order. And I just want to say, as you're going after something great, it's almost impossible to have that balance because you're always going to be spending more time in one area than the other. So the goal is to have a harmony. And so what that means is making sure that all of your values are in alignment. You're moving in one direction, and you're staying authentic and true to what you believe, and being okay that not everyone's going to be okay with it, but you do it anyways because it's who you are. And what happens is, you're going to attract another group of people who are looking for what you have to give and what you have to share.
Yeah.
So staying true.
Excellent. And speaking of building a community, building a tribe, so have you ever come across someone, because I know you've worked with lots of clients, have you ever come across someone where that didn't occur, or that it wasn't there? It was so small, because I know that's a fear, right? Everybody's afraid of, if I go and I be who I am, what if there aren't weird people like me out there? What if there's only 3 of us in the whole world? What am I going to do then? But have you ever come across, and so there's that fear of going into that and being and showing up, truly showing up, not sure that other people accept it. And of course, there's a whole conversation.
Right. Well, part of it is wisdom, right? So, when you have maybe a different belief than maybe other people have, you don't have to go out there and promote it in the front end. You can have it in the back end. So what I mean by that is, you just continue to be great in your business. You continue to create awesome things. And as people are attracted to that, you can share with them, what is, been a big part of your life and what's helped you. And so you can have the tribe in the back end, but use your creativity and your gifts on the front end. And so that way you're able to reach a larger audience. You'll be able to, you won't shut anybody out in the marketplace. But when they come to you, you're able to share with them, whether it's your faith or ideas or community that you have. Yeah,
that's great. Thank you. So what about, let's talk about, so this is the Leaders of Transformation podcast, right? So when we talk about transformation, what are some of the greatest transformations you've been part of or experienced in your own life?
Well, I think transformations happen in these small moments. They happen it's not like this, just this thing you go to and you get transformed. They happen in the little moments.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of them. But actually one was just this weekend. I was actually at an event, and it was really neat because it challenged your mind, your body, and it was team building exercises, and your character showed up because we were under a lot of pressure in some exercises. We got thrown in escape rooms where we had to figure things out. We had to go on this like really high drop swing, and it was like a free fall, and you had to cut your own cable and fall to the ground. Like, it was really mentally, physically challenging, and a lot showed up. And one of the things that one of the biggest transformations I've had is I was always, because I grew up with very little, I was always trying to hold on tight to my business. I was always trying to hold on to things. And what happened is it really limited my potential to really grow because I was trying to control. And so one of the biggest transformations I've had, and it confirmed this last weekend, is being able to just let go, and being able to increase that risk tolerance, to really go after what, you want to go after, having faith all the way through, making the decision to just, go all the way through. And so I've made a lot of risky decisions that have paid off really well, but not unwise, or not crazy, smart decisions, but being okay with the failure or success. And a lot of times we're afraid to make that jump. And so I think the transformation of being able to really not be afraid and just go after whatever you see. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's funny because everybody wants the moment. They want to know the moment where it's all going to happen, and it's the breakthrough is preceded by the breakdown. The transformation is, like you said, it's the same. It's where we want that instant, throw it in the microwave, get it out, and eat it. It's the process, and then you look back and you go, wow. I mean, sometimes those transformations, those breakthroughs happen in short periods of time, but yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. The other thing I want to mention is, another big transformation I had is striving. I was always in a place of striving, and that's not the way we were designed to really live a fulfilled life. And so being able to really allow God to work and trust in his hand over things, has been a huge shift, because it doesn't have to be me doing everything anymore. Knowing that everything's in God's hands and being able to trust that has been a huge shift in my life as well.
So how do you do that? How do you do that on a daily basis when you're trying to also balance between, or finding the harmony between striving, having goals, going after your goals, and then trusting that it's all going to happen, and having the faith that it's all going to work out?
Yeah,
because I know
the shift.
Some people kind of like just lay back.
Right, exactly, and I know exactly what you're talking about. So the shift is a management in your expectations. So one is when you're striving, your expectation is that I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do this, and it's promises to yourself that you're going to get to a certain place. I'm going to hit this goal. I'm going to go after this. Nothing is going to stop me. So that's a striving spirit. So versus, relying on God through your journey, it's different, because now it's no longer, I'm going to do this. It's like, okay, God, this is where my heart is set. I want to move in this direction, but I'm perfectly okay if things don't happen the way that I want them to happen, because I know at the end, you're going to have me be exactly where you need me to be. And so you no longer you're no longer making promises that things need to be a certain way. You're allowing God to move in your life, and you're being okay with however the chips fall, and you end up, the process has peace in it. Yes. And so you're not constantly dissatisfied or unhappy or stressed out or anxious, because you know that everything's going to, work out.
Yes. So you have peace, even though you're constantly moving forward and growing, but you have a peace and acceptance. There's that balance between having the acceptance for what is and still dreaming big dreams, because you dream big dreams.
Yes.
Right? And you do things in a big way. And so I got that pretty quickly. He had everybody, all the speakers and VIPs, he had them on a yacht after you had them on the yacht at the end and so forth. I mean, you want to do things in a big way and have fun and, and make money, make a difference is a motto that I've certainly adopted. And I love that, that's who you are as well. So much wisdom, and so much, even as I said, and I hate to say that, but I mean, because you're 26, and I hated when I was 26, they said, "Oh, you're so young." It's like, well, I'm the oldest I've ever been. So,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's amazing that you have this much knowledge and wisdom at your age, that you're just getting started. You're just warming up. There's so much more out there for you, and that's why I do believe you are a leader of transformation already, and it's just the beginning for you. So for our listeners that are listening out there, the future leaders of transformation, or the people that are wanting to make a difference, as we kind of wrap up here, and there's so much more I could ask you and we could dive into, but what are some tips for them, and encouragement, or tips for how they move forward? There's listening out there and they're saying, okay, I'm in it. I'm in the trenches today, right now, as I'm listening to this podcast. What would you tell them?
Yeah. I would say that, one of the things I do is become more intentional. That's been a huge shift as well, in your approach to whatever it is that you're creating. And so what that means is, you have to be able to get the right strategies. You have to be able to take the right investments. You have to be able to get the right team in place, and you're doing everything. Success has an order, and be intentional about doing things correctly. And if you don't know, find other people who can help you along the way, because that's been a huge reason why I am where I am today, is the mentorship of other people who have cut the learning curve, who can give you guidance, and then also experimenting. And being able to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and moving forward, but being intentional about your outcomes.
Got it. And where does discernment play into that? How do you employ discernment to know, because there's lots of people out there, and I don't mean to play the devil's advocate in this conversation, but I always look at both sides of things, right? And so I look at, there's also a lot of people out there that are offering input. How do you find the right people, the ones that are right for you, to move you to that next step? Because you did contract the space.
Yeah. You don't really know, to be honest, until you work with them. So what I do is I actually hire, anytime I get a coach, I hire them for 30 days first, and I'll pay them for the 30 days to work with me. And if I like their style, if I see that they know their stuff, if I see that I'm growing, then I'll extend from there. And so, and the reason that happened is because I've made the mistake of hiring the wrong people.
Right.
And so I work with people 30 days at a time. And then from there, okay, let's move to the next step.
Got it. And when it comes to branding and marketing people, what are some of the things? Obviously, we want to recommend that everybody goes to your website and, and hires you. But if it's not going to be you, how do they know how to identify somebody who is really good at what they do in terms of branding and marketing and online?
Yeah. In that space, I think it's their portfolio. It's a mixture of, their work, what they've created. And you could tell by their fruit, right?
Yeah.
And so what have they done? What have they built? And, and even being able to provide references for clients they've helped. That's huge. That's huge.
Excellent. And I do have to ask this question because it's a burning question that I have, is what does IMOB in the middle of your name? It's
IMOB.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while I was in direct sales, I started a movement called the On My Own Boss movement.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if you look on YouTube, the IMOB movement, you'll see a little bit about it. But it went viral, and I was able to, get a lot of momentum. And so that was
so it's I'm my own boss.
Yes. And so I was asking, it's funny because I was actually like, man, what am I doing? I have this thing stuck in my brand and it's stuck in my name. What am I going to do with this? Why is it there? It was kind of like a thorn in my side. And I was like, what is it? And then it came to me, International Ministry of Business.
Ooh,
and so,
nice.
Yeah. So that's a new project that I'm going to be going after here in the next upcoming years. So.
Excellent. Well, we need to talk more about that. We need to talk more about that as well, because there's some things that I'm doing and people that I've met recently that are doing something in that space as well. So we can definitely talk about that. Very cool. But yeah, I'm like, I'm mobile. What is that?
Yeah.
So for those of you that are wondering what the heck I'm talking about, Adam, give us your website so that people can find you and they'll know what.
Yes. So you can find me at adamimobflores.com, adamimobflores.com. And you can also connect with me on Facebook. It's adamimobflores.com. Not .com, adamimobflores. Same thing with my Instagram and YouTube. So
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Adam. I so appreciate you having you here today, and just some great insights, and just your spirit, your heart for people and what you are doing. And I see there's so much out there, so much more potential, and your international ministry of business. I love it. I think you're going to be amazing. And so if you're listening out there, I would highly recommend to go and check out what Adam's website looks like and why I was so impressed and why other people are so impressed. And you can also get some ideas in terms of what needs to be on your website to be effective and to be known as an expert. And then, of course, if you're interested in the services, then reach out to Adam, and he'd be happy to help you. So I'm going through that process right now, and I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. So anyway, thank you, Adam. I appreciate it.
you got it. Thanks, Nicole.
Awesome. And thank you to all our listeners and our viewers for tuning in today. We really appreciate you being here. And if you haven't already done so, go to theleadersoftransformation.com. We have some free resources there. We also will have all the show notes from this episode, but also, and links, of course, to Adam's website and all that, and social media handles. But we'll also have all of the previous episodes. We have well over 100 now episodes up there, and tremendous guests with great wisdom and insight and passion, and leaders of transformation, truly. And so you can check out the other episodes that we have. Also find us on iTunes if perhaps you got to this episode through some other way. But go on iTunes, and please, if you liked this interview and if you like what we're sharing here on the Leaders of Transformation, please give us a rating and review. It helps us to boost our ratings and be able to reach a greater audience through iTunes and Stitcher and all the other places that we are. And it would really, really help us a lot to do that, and we'd appreciate it. You can also find us on Facebook at the Leaders of Transformation. You can find us on, Twitter is Leaders Podcast. And just, connect with us. And if you have any questions, we're here to answer those questions for you and support you on your journey of being a leader of transformation. And until next time, have a great day. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Leaders of Transformation real soon. Bye-bye.